What's going on, guys? It's Jimmy here with your second stimulus check update. And man, Congress is crazy right now. They are fighting right now over these $1,200 stimulus checks and the government shutdown. I'm going to give you guys the latest information of what's going on, and also Senate Republicans that think that they can still get President Donald Trump in the presidency for 2020 going forward. I'm going to give you all the details of it in this video. Don't forget to like this video, and if you're new to the channel, make sure to subscribe down below. It's completely free to do so. This way you won't miss out on new videos regarding the stimulus check and related news. Okay, first up, Senate Republicans consider challenging Joe Biden's election win despite Mitch McConnell's warning against doing so. Several Republican senators are still mulling over potentially joining a last-ditch endeavor to overturn the election by challenging Congress's certification of President-elect Joe Biden's Electoral College win next month. This despite a warning from Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell and other top-down Senate Republicans not to indulge in a frivolous effort that could hurt the party down the road. Whether you're a Republican or Democrat, these are not my words, so I'm not picking sides here. But yeah. Senator Ted Cruz says there's still multiple lawsuits underway and legal proceedings that need to conclude. The legal process needs to play out. The willingness to consider such what they call a Hail Mary play being led by Representative Mo Brooks, a Republican from Alabama, represents the real possibility that lawmakers may be forced on January 6th to vote down Republicans' attempt to award the election to the losing candidate, a move that would undermine the democratic process. Brooks needs just one Republican from the Senate to be able to force this vote, something he's so far been unable to accomplish as Senate Republican leaders publicly and privately try to quash the idea and urge the party to move on. Mitch McConnell issued a direct warning during a call with Republican senators on Tuesday not to join Brooks's effort that has been gaining steam in the House of Representatives among Republicans. Now let's talk about the second stimulus check, the second stimulus package, and the government shutdown. Where we kind of are at so far is we have a stimulus package that is expected to have $600 stimulus checks for adults and $600 stimulus checks for children. However, the push to get $1,200 stimulus checks is gaining more people by the day, and they have passed a 2-day government extension, which only lasts until Sunday, which they have to get a lot done in that time, including pass the entire stimulus check and stimulus package bill. Meanwhile, while they're still bickering about how much the check will be, $600 or $1,200.
Is there objection to proceeding to the measure?
Reserving the right to object.
The senator from Vermont.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President, last week I indicated that it would be unacceptable for the Senate to recess for the Christmas holidays without providing substantial direct payments to the working families of our country and to their children. Majority Leader McConnell and I do not agree on much, but as I understand it, we are in agreement on at least one point, and that is that the Senate cannot go home until a COVID emergency relief bill is passed. The fact that the Majority Leader intends to keep the Senate in session this weekend to continue work on the COVID relief package is the correct decision. But let me, at this time, be as clear as I can be. Senator Josh Hawley, a Republican from Missouri, and I have been working together to make certain that the working families of this country have a direct payment of $1,200 for adults and $2,400 for couples and $500 for each of their children. And let me also be absolutely clear that I will object to any attempt by the Senate to pass an omnibus appropriations bill and leave town before passing a COVID relief bill with substantial direct payments, going to working people. The truth is that the working families of this country today are probably in worse economic condition than at any time since the Great Depression. Millions of people are unable to pay their rent, and they're worried about being evicted. Hunger is literally at an highest level that it has been in several decades, and in the midst of this terrible, terrible pandemic, we got tens of millions of people who cannot afford to go to a doctor. That is unacceptable. So I would say to my colleagues, let us get this package passed. Let's make certain that we have direct payments to working families of this country. And with that, Mr. President, I would withdraw my objection.
Now, just yesterday, both Senator Bernie Sanders from the Democrat/Independent Party and Senator Josh Hawley from the Republican Party, Republican Senator, both brought $1,200 stimulus checks, standalone bills, onto the floor of the Senate and were vetoed or objected by Senator Ron Johnson, who is quickly becoming the most hated man in America. Just a correction from yesterday's video, he's from Minnesota, but he's actually a senator for Wisconsin. The reason why I say this very clearly, that he's a senator for Wisconsin, because I have had thousands and thousands and thousands of people over the course of the last several months say they want to know the names of the people who are voting against stimulus check. This is a bill that was just for $1,200 stimulus checks for people, and Senator Ron Johnson objected both times to this bill being presented on the floor with an up or down vote from both Bernie Sanders and Republican Senator Josh Hawley. So this is it. If you want to know who voted against your stimulus checks, this is him, Ron Johnson from Wisconsin. So when he's up for re-election, feel free to vote or not vote for him. Let your votes do the talking. Now, before I show you what he has to say here real quick, I do need to make a point here that this is basically to move stimulus checks from $600 to $1,200. Everything we hear from both sides is that there is at least $600 to $700 stimulus checks in this bill that they now need to pass by Sunday. Even that is going to be a stretch. They have to get it passed by both the House, the Senate, and have the president sign it, and the Congressional Budget Office needs to go through it. And we don't even have the bill yet. But the government is going to shut down this Sunday now. They have only passed a 2-day extension, and honestly, they barely passed that extension, as we almost had objections to raise that bill on the floor also, and I don't think they're going to pass another one. So if they don't get this passed by Sunday, I do actually expect the government to shut down, and that will really make them scramble to finish this bill. We'll have to see. Right now, let's hear from your best friend. Obviously, I say that sarcastically. Senator Ron Johnson from Wisconsin on why he doesn't think that stimulus checks to the people are a good idea.
We have families in need. There's no doubt about it. I completely support some kind of program targeted for small businesses so they can reemploy, so they can reopen, to restore capital. Their life savings have been wiped out. I have proposals. They've been ignored. So what I fear we're going to do with this bipartisan package, and what the senator from Missouri is talking about, is the same thing, a shotgun approach. We will not have learned the lessons from our very hurried, very rushed, very massive earlier relief packages. We're going to just do more of the same, another $1 trillion. It takes our debt from $27.4 trillion to $28.4 trillion in a couple months, with doing virtually no revisions, no improvements. And certainly what the senator from Missouri is talking about in terms of these economic impact payments, no revisions at all. Just spend another $275 billion, send it out to 115 million households, when we are currently at about 9 million jobs less than we were in a record economy before the COVID recession. So for all those reasons, I not only object to what Senator Hawley is proposing here, but I'm certainly lodging my objection to what's barreling through here. The train's left the station on the package that's being and negotiated right now that is way too big, that authorizes more money, even though we've got $600 billion is there just for repurposing, no new authorization required. 52 Republicans supported it. But that's not good enough. We've got to throw another $300 to $400 billion on top, which is $300 to $400 billion more that we are mortgaging our children's future without reforms, without targeting. So, Mr. President, I object.
Mr. President.
The objection is heard.
So yeah, now all of a sudden we should be fiscally responsible and not give that $270 billion to the people. This is a guy who's voted for corporate welfare and has voted for billions and trillions of dollars to go to needs of banks and corporate funding. But now all of a sudden is the time for him to draw the line when it comes to stimulus checks to the actual American people. So yeah, I mean, do your voting. If you're from Wisconsin, when he's up for re-election, do your voting, because somehow I feel like these people always get reelected. So many people hate Mitch McConnell and hate Nancy Pelosi, and yet both of them got reelected in a landslide. And I see people saying, oh, well, now that they voted for Nancy Pelosi or Mitch McConnell, now they've realized it. Now they're not going to vote for him again. By the time they're up for re-election again, Mitch McConnell is going to be like 84 years old or 86 years old by then. It's just like, if you guys don't like what these congressmen are doing, congressmen, congresswomen, use your votes, okay? These are the people representing us, and somehow they get reelected all the time. Let me show you what Senator Josh Hawley, who's a Republican senator also, said right after Ron Johnson sat down from the podium. This is his exact rebuttal to Ron Johnson.
The objection is heard. The senator from Missouri.
Mr. President, I thank the Senator of Wisconsin for his perspective, which I always appreciate. And of course, I appreciate working with Senator Johnson on so many issues. On this issue, though, I'm afraid we just are going to have to differ. And I just want to say this. Nothing could be more targeted. No relief could be more important than relief for working people. Now, the senator's right. This body has spent trillions of dollars this year alone on COVID relief. We're getting ready to spend apparently another $1 trillion more. And yet, working people are told they may be last if they get relief at all. I don't think the American people understand that. I know people in Missouri don't understand it. And I just urge members of these bodies, go home and try explaining that to the people of your state. Go ahead. Just try. Try telling them why this body can bail out the banks. We bailed out the banks to such a tune that now they've got money left over. Now we're going to take money back because we spent so much on Wall Street and the banks in the first part of this year. That's right. In fact, now I understand that my Democrat colleagues don't want to shut down all of the bank money because who knows what we might be able to do with that in the future. Oh, they're fine. They're more than fine. They're doing great. Now, Wall Street is doing great. Big tech, they're doing great. The big multinational corporations, fantastic. Working people are living in their cars. Working people can't go to the doctor. Working people can't pay their rent. Working people can't feed their children. They should be first, Mr. President, not last. And it is no answer for this body to tell them, go get in an unemployment line. Really? That's the response? Go get in an unemployment line. Now, the working people of this country, frankly, deserve better. They deserve to be the top priority, just like they have made this country the top priority in their lives and their families. This is not the end of this fight, Mr. President. I'm here right now on this floor. Senator Sanders will be back in a matter of hours to ask again for the same measure. Again, I've been proud to partner with him on this effort, and I will keep working with whomever it takes for however long it takes until we get the working people of this country relief.
Thank God somebody's fighting for us. And honestly, since this Ron Johnson veto and blockade of this $1,200 stimulus check standalone bill, we've actually seen more support since then. We now have multiple people, but mainly Senator Chuck Schumer, who is the Senate Minority Leader. He's the leader of the Democrats and one of the two leaders of the negotiations on the Democratic bill the Democrat and the Republicans are drafting this bill right now that they're figuring out the details on. Now Chuck Schumer has come on board and said, yes, you're right. We should actually have $1,200 stimulus checks. Now that I've heard Ron Johnson object to it, Ron Johnson, heaven forbid, the whole country's, Ron Johnson's there standing in the way. So we're now seeing more and more support for these $1,200 stimulus checks. The main key here is going to be what they put in the bill, because whatever they put in the bill is going to be what most likely is going to pass, because we already pretty much have support on both sides for it. There's always going to be some people on each side that will object to like a standing motion like that from Sanders and Hawley. But when they actually come with the bill that is decided on who votes on it is by the leaders, Mitch McConnell and Nancy Pelosi. So when the leaders say, we're putting this to a vote, that's when everybody votes, and they need that majority vote, 51% in the House and 60% in the Senate. That is expected to pass once the leaders come forward with a bill and say, this is what the floor is going to vote for. That's going to be the bill that passes. That's going to be the bill they're trying to vote on this weekend. That's going to be the bill that has at least $600 stimulus checks, possibly higher as this motion is moving forward, and at least $300 unemployment bonus money, and billions of dollars for rent assistance and food assistance, which I will be walking you through how to claim those different buckets of money once they pass this bill. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't yet so you don't miss out on new videos that come out at 10 a.m., 3 p.m., and 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Subtract 3 hours if you're on the West Coast. And hit the bell icon if you want notifications when we go live. You have to click the bell and then all notifications. And also I had a couple comments to say they don't get notifications. If you're watching YouTube on your phone, you have to actually go into your settings under YouTube, go to settings on your phone, then go into YouTube and make sure you have notifications enabled, because if you have notifications disabled for YouTube, that will kind of override the whole notification system. So I hope that clears it up, because I've been getting a lot of questions on that. New videos typically come out at 10 a.m., 3 p.m., and 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, though. Sometimes there are other videos, so yeah, make sure to tune in. Share this video if you can so others like you know about these stimulus programs. And you can click this top video here to watch my newest stimulus check video next. And this video teaches you how to start your own business selling products on Amazon FBA. I have dozens of students that have replaced their 9-to-5 income by selling products on Amazon from their home, and I teach people how to do that. Click on one of those videos to watch them next. Thanks, guys, and I will see you in the next video.